Are you still getting only 2 to 3% interest per annum on your fixed deposits? What if I tell you that you can easily earn more than 3.5% and potentially up to 16.17% per annum? Well, borderline impossible, but it's all made possible by money market funds, short for MMFs. Now, for those of you that are new to it, MMF is a type of investment fund that instead of investing in stocks or equities, they invest in safe and low-risk short-term securities like government bonds or SOCO, providing higher returns than typical fixed deposits that you can find out there, yet safer than most of the investment funds or assets out there like bonds, ETF, mutual funds, unit trusts, properties, stocks, forex, etc. So when you invest in MMFs, your money is put with others that enters the fund, and a fund manager or the institute will then use this money to invest in government bonds, short-term bonds from banks, or to negotiate higher returns from the bank's fixed deposits, because the more the merrier, right? Economies of scale. Then the returns earned from these investments will then go back into your pocket as liquid free cash. For example, Versa Save, that allows you to save through Versa Cash, offers a yearly return of 3.67% per annum as of June 2024. But of course, this rate can obviously change over time based on the fund's performance and also the Bank Negara's OPR. And by saving in Versa Cash, you are essentially investing in a low-risk money market fund called Affin Hwang Enhanced Deposit Fund (EDF), managed by AHAM Capital Asset Management, previously known as Affin Hwang Asset Management, one of Malaysia's largest asset management firms, alongside the favorite names like Public Mutual and also Principal Asset Management, which is behind Touch 'n Go Go Plus. And according to Morningstar, we can see that the fund's historical return for the past 10 years have been quite consistent, because it averages around 3.2% per annum, which is pretty solid, and with 80% of the funds invested in deposits and cash equivalents, and the remaining 20% in short-term bonds. In my opinion, other than the risk of an interest rate cut, it should be a pretty solid low-risk investment. Now, some of you might ask,
Ziet, actually the return from fixed deposits also not bad these days. So why you choose MMFs over fixed deposits?
yes, the return from FDs can be high, but it is usually for certain periods of promotions only, and it will drop back after the promos end. And in some cases, some banks might also require you to invest in their unit trust or their investment products to unlock higher rates. So it might not be as straightforward as you thought. And the holy grail of all, MMFs are highly liquid and have no lock-in periods. Plus, your interest with them will be earned on a daily basis, while FD only pays the interest after the maturity period or lock-in period, which can range from somewhere 1 to 60 months. That's very long. So imagine having 1,000 ringgit in MMF with a 5% interest rate per year. When you withdraw it after 6 months, you'll receive about 1,025 ringgit, give or take. But for fixed deposits, like I said earlier, if you opted for say a 1-year tenor or lock-in period, withdrawing after 6 months of depositing means premature withdrawal. So depending if you have given banks an early notice or not, the most you can get back is only half of the interest gain. And what's even better is that the minimum deposit for MMS usually go as low as 10 ringgit. Whereas for FDs, you will usually need a minimum of 1,000 ringgit. But of course, there must be some trade-offs, right? Of course, since MMFs are considered an investment asset, it means they are not insured by PIDM, which covers up to 250,000 ringgit of your deposits. And that is why it is important for us to carefully consider and go with MMFs that are well regulated and licensed, like the Versa Cash that is regulated by the Securities Commission Malaysia (SC). Steady. Now, some of you might wonder, why don't banks just do like MMFs, just take more deposits and then give more interest lah? Seems like a no-brainer for them, right? Well, allow me to explain, because it's not as simple as that. Let's say you put 50,000 ringgit as a fixed deposit in a bank for say 6 months, then the bank can use all your 50,000 ringgit as a loan for the next 6 months and collect a higher interest from another borrower. We all know that very well because that's how bank operates. But if all the 50,000 ringgit is in MMF instead, the bank misses the opportunity to take full advantage of your deposit, as they need to set aside some funds just in case you want to withdraw out your money anytime. So ultimately, it is less profitable for banks to promote and also provide MMS for us. Well, I hope you learned something new about that. So there you have it, the good and bad of the MMFs. If you're looking for an FD alternative to save your cash, the money market fund in Versa is a good start because you can now earn up to 16.17% per annum interest by just saving and investing with them. Let me show you how this works. We'll start with the base interest rate of Versa Cash as of June 2024 at 3.67% per annum. So you start with Versa Invest. Once you set up an auto debit of at least 200 ringgit monthly to 499 ringgit and 99 cent into any Versa Invest fund, like the Versa Growth Fund that provides you the exposure to S&P 500 in the US, or the Versa Global I Fund, a Shariah compliant fund with a high concentration in technology stocks, or the Versa Sing Dollar Fund, you will then earn up to 1% per annum of net returns on your first 10,000 ringgit in your Versa Cash or your Versa Cash I account. Or if you have more money to save, you can then set up a monthly auto debit of 500 ringgit and above into any Versa Invest fund to get 1% per annum net returns for your first 30,000 ringgit. So there you see, just by auto debiting into Versa Invest, you have 4.67% per annum on your Versa Cash now. However, just be mindful that the Versa Gold Fund will not be eligible for this campaign. Now, next one, Versa PRS. And to get the next 1% per annum return on your first 30,000 ringgit, you then need to set up another monthly auto debit of 250 ringgit into their private retirement scheme, PRS, making up the total interest rate going up to 5.67% per annum on your Versa Cash. Now the third part, Versa Referral, where if you want more, here's where you can push the interest up to 15.67% per annum by joining Versa's referral quest. This quest allows you to get 0.5% per annum return with a 10% monthly cap on your first 10,000 ringgit for every person you successfully refer to sign up with Versa and deposit at least 100 ringgit into any of their fund. So referring 20 people can get you the maximum 10% per annum interest rate. However, of course, do note that this referral reward will reset to 0% each month. So you will need to refer 20 different people every month to achieve the maximum interest. And it's also important for me to remind you that the referral made now won't immediately get you the returns, as they will only be rewarded in the following month, and this applies to the other rewards as well. Now the last part, finally, to get the remaining 0.5% interest on your first 10,000 ringgit, you will just need to cash in at least 5,000 ringgit, and that will make your total Versa Cash interest rate to go up to 16.17% per annum. Oh, and do note that this particular cash-in campaign, this little 0.5% bonus part is only available for the month of July. So get it with the link down below before it's over. But I know realistically, it's not easy to reach that 10% return by referring 20 people every month, especially if you are not active in, say, any forums like Ziet or Reddit, or you're not a content creator like me. However, it's not totally impossible lah, right? I mean, let's just say you can get just 2 referrals, you can still get a return of 7.17% per annum, which is already way better than most FDs or mutual funds return out there. And their campaign only lasts for a limited time, and it's essentially free money up for grabs while you can save and invest your money. It's a win-win for everyone, right? Alright, until then, check out this video to learn more about the different funds that Versa Invest offers. See you over there.